All right, here's another segment of What Your Palate, where we tell you a little bit about who our guests are today. We've got some very special guests from New York City, drawing inspiration from Ethiopia and coffee lovers around the world. We have Sarina and Elias from Buunni Coffee. Very excited to have you on the show. You guys had such great stories, such great perspectives on community, culture, coffee, bringing it all together, and even a tour of your roastery.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we got to touch on a little bit how you guys met, how this love story between you and coffee began. We get like lots of great insights, from surviving pandemic. I mean, you guys started right in, like we just mentioned, in the pros, right there in Manhattan. So there's a lot there. And also the ceremonial aspects of where this coffee comes from in origin.
And the parallels between wine and coffee, I think, are even more so than I already thought.
Thank you. All my life, I've loved books. I read a lot. I have written and I enjoy writing. And so I wrote a book, and it's called The Coffee House Resistance. And it came out in 2019. And it's a book that's really hard to categorize because it's a very personal story. And it's also a story of us as a family, of moving countries, moving from Ethiopia to New York, and sort of discovering and creating a new life in New York. But it's also a business story. It's about starting a business. And it's also a coffee story. So if you're a coffee enthusiast, so it has different, and definitely there are different, you could read it for different interests. But I enjoyed writing it, and a lot of Buunni's story and our story is in that book. And our customers have shown up in the book. The community shows up in the book, and it really does sort of take the journey of me, even starting from my childhood. I mean, it's not like chronological or like a whole story like that, but it's kind of like the highlights of moments of our life in Ethiopia and our life now in New York.
I love that.
The caveat being it came out in 2019. So, I think anybody that writes a book, it's kind of like you write it in that moment, and, 5 years later, 10 years later, maybe you would have written a different book, or maybe, or it would be different in certain ways.
Just have a different perspective on life as, you get older and go through pandemics and weird.
That's what I think. That was right before the pandemic. So no one saw that coming.
Yeah, I would have done a lot of things differently.
Yeah. There's a lot of stock choices I would have made. I would have been like, Peloton? Boop, boop. Let's do that, because that was a good time for them. But yeah, actually, since you mentioned it, was there anything you want to touch on? Because as far as overcoming obstacles with the pandemic,
were you guys shut down for 3 months, 6 months?
So when the pandemic, we had 4 locations, and then out of the 4, our first location actually closed only for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and then we start opening on the window, takeout.
Takeout. Okay.
They are one location we closed for 6 months, different varieties and stuff. It was a really, really tough time for everybody that time. So, but one thing is we did actually, I would say, in the pandemic time, is we did this essential workers coffee delivery. So we start doing that, sending coffee boxes to hospitals nearby. We have a lot of there's a lot of hospitals where we resident, where our business start. So we start doing that, and then when we do that, our customers. This is another thing we talk, right? We start that program by sending 2 boxes of coffee, each hospital, and then finally, our customers, they heard what we're doing, they start pitching, they start ordering the coffees, and then it becomes a lot. So we start delivering coffees. I would say about 10 to 15 hospitals in the area. Box and box of coffees. It becomes a business for us. Good. because we're getting a revenue, and then it's also good, like, for the essential workers, for the nurses, whoever works in the hospital, and then we did that. It's like it just brings you like also people together, right? With this situation. Yeah.
Yeah, New York was so badly hit, and it was terrible. And I think there were a lot of people who felt so helpless and that time, and they were at home and they didn't know what to do. So it was something like a pay it forward thing that people just got really excited about something that they could do, something small to in a small way make a difference. And we ended up doing a lot of those deliveries. We did, one of the larger cafe was closed for a long time, and it has a kitchen. So we even did like meal kits where, we did, like a coffee business, but we ended up doing meal kits. It was sort of like whatever we needed to do to keep going.
Yeah.
We closed one cafe and the others remained, continued after the pandemic.
We did a lot of like survival things. One of the things is like, trying to do food, selling like food for people to deliver, like, pre-order foods.
Oh, the digital coffee. We did online coffee tastings.
Yeah.
So we would mail, like, this is a little bit later not in the sort of beginning, like, crisis mode, but then we did these online tastings where you would get a small pack of samples, you would receive them in the mail, and then we would guide you through the tasting of these coffees and talk about Ethiopian coffees and do a guided tasting. And those were very popular too. Sometimes groups did them, companies did them for their staff. Sometimes it was just a group of friends that wanted to do it together to be connected. So we tried, like, we really.
Yeah, it is like, one of the things I would say is like, because when this pandemic, it came for everyone. It's not only about business, right? It's like we had kids, kids at that time. One of them is like, first grader. And what are you going to do with them? Like, homeschooling.
It was terrible.
It was homeschooling. And then we trying to apply also all kinds of like,
grants, COVID things that were happening. It was just an intense time. And I think for everybody has their own experience of what the pandemic was like for them. But yeah, I think in the end, the scariest thing for me, business-wise, was our whole brand is about community, about people getting together. And if people can't get together, then what are we? Like, how do we even talk about Buunni if there's no, like, but we found ways. We found ways for keeping that community aspect going, because that's really the essence of our brand. And I think that was the weirdest moment for me to say, okay, well, if we can't have people getting together, then what is this company going to be?
Yeah, like the live stream, staying connected, educating. I'm sure a lot of people were unwilling to do that. And so, good for you guys for jumping in and really, keeping that sense of community at the forefront, because that's something I think that we all lost for a period of time. I mean, it's funny to think that could have been the only time in American history that you could have opened a coffee house speakeasy, like blacked out the windows and been like, all your customers like, hey, Thursday night it's going down.
No masks.
No masks.
Rebels. Yeah, I mean, even you. I mean, that's when you actually jumped in. He was, you weren't so social media heavy. You weren't really like on the screen, and then that kind of also pushed you to. You were doing live streams.
Yeah, instead of being
became a TikTok influencer.
Instead of being out in front of people, it was like I was out in front of a camera in front of people. But you had to keep the education going, and we're still seeing there's a major lapse in education due to that. I'll call it a 2-year period, and so we're just now starting to see this younger generation evolve. And so I think that there's going to be this crescendo of kind of a multitude of the delayed generation through COVID and the normal kind of rite of passage that people are going through with wine. and understanding it. So I think we'll see a bigger influx come in the next maybe 2 years or so. But yeah, I mean, it's culturally, it's one of those things very similar to coffee. I mean, I think about food and beverage a lot. That's part of the industry we're in. When you're thinking about coffee and pairings, I mean, a lot of people just go, oh well, pastries, of course, or whatever. But you'd mentioned earlier something about in Ethiopia. Are there traditional pairings with the Ethiopian coffee?
So there's a whole category of snacks in Ethiopia that are literally called like coffee breakfast or coffee snacks. So things that go with coffee.
Okay.
And they're not things that normally in the US we would think about going with coffee. Like, for example, did you know coffee and popcorn go really well together?
You see, this is what I want to hear from you guys.
Yes, please. What? How did I not know?
Try it.
I'm doing
Next
it.
time you make coffee, have some popcorn with your coffee. It can be like sweet, so they make sweet popcorn, or also like savory, salty popcorn, or spicy popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so good. It's so good with coffee. And yes, spiced bread, little like, I don't know what to call them, dabobolo, like little snacks.
Yeah.
That go with.
I mean, we do like also roasted, grains, kind of things, barley, we mix it all this kind of like, grains, and we roast it, and then that's just the traditional we serve. And sometimes also, have you guys eaten like Ethiopian food?
Yeah, have you tried Ethiopian food?
I have, yeah.
I need to eat more of it. I know that.
So you know the injera, right? The bread, the flat bread is?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There's a very round, large, flat bread. It's almost like a crepe. It's like spongy.
Yeah.
So you can get that also, like not with the all like the sauces and stuff. You can sprinkle some chili or cayenne pepper. Sometimes they even apply a little bit of butter. That can be a snack. So take the concept is in our culture is like you don't give people empty stomach coffee. So you have to taste something before you drink coffee.
Okay.
Heck yeah, I'm gonna try the popcorn coffee.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the spice thing, like pairing like spicy bread.
Yeah.
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 Mm. And even in the old days in Ethiopia when they first started preparing coffee, there really wasn't sugar. So coffee was served, but Ethiopia has salt mines. So coffee was prepared with salt, like a little bit of salt. And salt, as you know, is a flavor enhancer.
Yeah.
So also coffee with butter.
I've heard that on the keto diet, but yeah.
The original of that is like traditional Ethiopian coffee with butter that is still in the rural areas for special guests. They might get served coffee with butter.
And are you guys serving any of those things like at the cafe? Do you guys have a?
Yeah, not the salted and the butter, but we do serve we have two items on our menu that are specifically Ethiopian style. One is called a bunna, which is like if you just ask for coffee in a city in Ethiopia, you would, with a machine, you would get this. And it's like a long shot of espresso. It's bigger than an espresso, smaller than a drip. It's like pretty strong. It's called bunna. And then we also serve an Ethiopian style macchiato, which is another drink that's very popular there.
So one secret you have to do is like, coffee is like citrus. Like someday you get citrus, right? And some people, they don't like it that part. So to add a tiny, tiny bit of like salt can bring it that down a lot. So
it brings the acidity down.
So because of, sulfuric acid, whatever, like, I don't know physician, but that's the minute. The physics kind of. So try that one. If you don't like, those kind of things, add a little bit, tiny, tiny bit of like salt, so it makes it mellow.
Okay.
I'm liking this. I'm thinking salt, butter, coffee, and steak. I'm thinking a rub, dude. I think we're gonna do a steak rub.
A steak rub and a coffee pairing.
Yeah. I think that might work. But actually, I'm thinking. So I mean, I want to kind of talk about where they're maybe shooting from right now. And
yeah, I mean, let's start. So you guys have this beautiful painting. I know some people listen to the podcast, some people watch it. So you have this beautiful painting behind you, and I understand you guys are at your roastery. And I'd love to do a tour, but let's start with the painting.
This is the first painting I ever bought in Ethiopia. Before I was in coffee, before I knew where our lives would go. And it's like a little bit abstract depiction, but it's an Ethiopian coffee ceremony, which we didn't even talk about that. But it's like typically how coffee is traditionally prepared. And here, this is the coffee pot, the traditional clay coffee pot. It's called the jebana. And here, this sort of abstract, but it represents, like, it reminds me of the popcorn that is often with coffee, but also smoke of the roasting, because coffee is first, in the Ethiopian coffee ceremony, first they wash the coffee, then they roast it in front of you, then they grind it, and then they prepare it. So it's the whole thing.
The whole thing.
And so there's smoke involved. And these little cups, they're called sini. These are the traditional cups. So the painting is all of, like, showing an Ethiopian coffee.
And the woman is standing in front of it. And then usually, like, coffee is made by the woman in the house.
The coffee ceremony is usually always. So if you go to a cafe and you have, like, espresso machine and stuff, then usually it can be the barista, can be anybody. But with the coffee ceremony, most of the time it's a woman, and usually dressed in traditional clothes, and then it's a whole. And in Ethiopia it's just called making coffee, but in English it's called ceremony because it seems ceremonial. Like there's a like a ritual, as you were saying earlier. It's like that coffee ritual, like the original.
Like on the map, like on the photo, on the painting. There's like a fresh grass, flowers, incense, happening like in that area. So it feels like a ceremonial, like, for people. It has also like, some kind of, like, I think, grace.
Yeah.
I think grace, like, it's grace. Like when the people, when they do it, they have like a movement, their own movement. When the way they roast the way they, after they roast the coffee, people are sitting around, and then they go around, they just make you smell the coffee, like, after the roast, and they grind it, like, with the pestle and mortar in front of you. It has all the vibes, so it is great. So,
that's what we need. That's what we need. I'm telling you, if I rolled into the coffee shop, instead of having some of these people, getting all like, thinking they're higher than, I'd rather walk into a place where there's dancing going on and ceremonial and like incense, like that.
The problem is in Manhattan, like, you can't roast in Manhattan. The fire alarm is going to be like crazy.
Yeah, also everybody's always in a hurry, so.
FDNY is like, sirening everywhere, and then, so.
So you want to see the roastery? That's where we are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little tour, and we'll show you where we are. So.
All right, we're on the move, people.
See us again?
This is a reason why you should tune in for visuals, because we're about to see the behind the scenes.
So we are walking through the roastery now.
Oh, awesome.
These are the sacks, like burlap sacks. This is how coffee comes, green coffee. When it's not roasted, we call it green. So these are just stacks of coffee. And then as we're walking,
yeah. So this is our roasters here.
This is one coffee roaster. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It's a California made, one of like the finest machines in the industry. Environmental friendly, energy saver machine.
This is where coffee gets packed. These are the packing machines. Again, it's a vacuum that loads it to the top.
Loaded the coffee up here and weighing it out, and somebody has to sit and then pump it out the coffees into these bags, or different size of bags. This is our 12-ounce bags. We are actually today on a production day. We're still doing packing.
And then sealers. Yeah, so this is behind the scenes, all the stuff that goes on in production of coffee. You'll see there's a sign that says organic roasted coffee only. So we have 2 roasters and 2 packers, and one is designated for organic coffee only. There are very strict rules that we have to follow. We have art in our roastery. The art is actually painted on the pallets that the roasters came in. And there's a lot of roasted coffee. These are we call them super sacks. They have, maybe we can take a peek. Is there coffee in here?
Oh, the super sacks.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
here you go.
Oh, okay. Wow.
This is your roasted coffee in here.
Yeah.
I
Great.
So these are full of roasted coffee.
So those are
this
just
is,
ready, just waiting to get
preparing.
packaged. Because
Yeah.
So
super,
this is going to be packaged tomorrow, starting tomorrow.
so super sacks hold what, 500 pounds?
It depends. I think this one is about 800, 900, a little bit over 900 pounds
Okay, and you guys are, you said you're running 300, you can run 300 pounds an hour
per machine. Yeah.
per machine. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So like our capacity is about over 10,000 pounds a day.
Okay. And so just looking at the products that you guys have, you do have some products that you always have available, correct? Like what you're going to find at Trader Joe's and online. And then you do your specialty. Hey, I see the wines back there. Nice.
So here, usually this table is only coffee, nothing else allowed. But today we have some wine on this table.
We're honored. We're honored.
We are honored. I thought that was part of the process. Maybe you're like brewing coffee, you drink wine.
And so you, as you guys roast like your house blend, you're you're tasting while you're roasting. You're brewing and tasting while you're roasting. Is that right?
Yeah, we're tasting after roasting. Usually the coffee has to rest.
Okay.
I'm going to just show you. This might seem familiar to you because I think wine has something similar. This is the coffee taster's wheel.
Yes.
So it has all the flavor notes and things that we find in coffee. And yeah, we have, so on the cupping table, you'll see this is normally how coffee is tasted. It's set up like this in these, so this is ground coffee.
Okay.
And the tasting always starts with the smell. So we always smell the coffee and,
You smell the coffee. So how we do it is like, you see like, there's 3 cups in here. Usually like, we do like about 5 these days, like if you
5
do
cups.
sample taste. But for production, we do 3. All these 3 coffees are the same coffee. But the reason why we do 3, like, you guys tell me, like, you have any idea why we do 3 cups?
I'm imagining just consistency.
Yeah.
exactly.
Exactly. So what happens is consistency, one thing. So sometimes also you might get defects in coffee, right? So sometimes, like one bean defect can change the flavor of the coffee, the taste. So we're gonna get taste every cup. And like these 3 cups, we say, okay, if we get the same taste, we say we're good. But if you say, okay, 1 cup is not right, and the other 2 are the same, we said, okay, maybe some defect in the beans. So that's why we have it and we taste it, sample it every day, like every product.
Elias just explained about the cupping. This is where we do all of the quality control, and all of it is by tasting. Of course, also by looking, you can see roast color profile, but taste is like the biggest thing.
I bet, yeah.
That's how we determine, yeah.
That's why I think it's like one thing is like about consistency, right? How you're gonna produce the same product every time when you make it. Because it can change. One thing can change a lot. Like, one of the things in coffee, like especially when I ask people to do, like when they make coffee at home, one thing you have to watch really is like, with coffee maker shouldn't be like washed by soap, for an example. This is, I will always like a secret for people I will tell. You rinse it out. You rinse it out with hot water. You good. And then maybe once, I would say like, it depends how much coffee you drink. Once in a month, maybe you can wash it out with soap because soap is like, it's really hard to rinse it out. And coffee is like one of the very, very absorbent materials we use, like, product we use. So you have to keep on that in mind. Like, like I always like, suggest people don't use soap. Not on the cup. Yes, cup is definitely
in the
coffee maker.
Baker, yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because I always thought it was like a dirty little secret of mine that I never cleaned my coffee maker.
Hot water is
Dirty.
good.
He just likes it dirty coffee.
Dude, it's like a good cast iron pan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to coffee has natural oils to it. Even just using the French press today, it's like I just rinse it off and you can like feel the oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were asking us earlier about the products, and so this is like a wholesale bag, like a 5-pound bag, and then this is a regular 12-ounce bag. And one thing we've been finding is that customers, you know, even home customers, are wanting to buy more in bulk. So we introduced now a 2-pound bag that people can buy, so that if they go through a lot of coffee, then they can do that too.
How about aspirations? Because you guys obviously have a recipe for success, the story, the connection to the community, the quality of the product. Is there like, I always look at the limiting factors that I have in front of me, and they really pertain to family owned and operated and quality control being involved in everything we produce. That will be our limiting factors in wine. Do you guys have something like that where you guys are obviously on a growth trajectory right now, expanding, and is the sky the limit for you right now?
You know, I think no, the sky, because we don't really want to grow for growth's sake. You know, if we just wanted to grow, there are lots of ways to do that. I think, you know, if we want to grow the way we think is the right way to grow, there's less ways to do that. And that, like, you know, in your words, maybe that's the limiting factor as well for us. We are, you know, truly independent. We are family owned. We are, you know, we own all of the decisions that we make. And that is both extremely liberating and wonderful, but it is also puts certain limits on how fast we can grow, how much we can do in terms of bandwidth, in terms of resources, in terms of investment, even in terms of like family priorities, like what is the priority next year? And, you know, how much time do we want to spend with our family, and how much time do we want to spend on business, and how much time do we want to be away? So all those choices, they translate into what our business goals are for the year or next year. And I think, you know, if we can continue to grow in this path, in this way, remaining independent, remaining family owned, remaining like really true to our values, then that's the way we want to grow. And so, you know, I think the aspiration is to continue to do that.
Beautiful.
I actually just want to throw in a question just to piggyback on that. I've gotten to know you both, had the pleasure to get to know you both a little bit here. You're very genuine, humble, and just great people. I really appreciate your vibe. But here comes the question I want to know is, have you been surprised to find your coffee in the cups of maybe some celebrities, people in the entertainment industry, whether they're actors or singers? I know, I just want to know, like, you know, what's going on a social level that you would be willing to share, or that you can share.
Yeah. So you might have heard that we had an election in New York recently.
Yeah.
Yes.
So our new mayor-elect has come to Buunni and had coffee.
Oh,
he's a celebrity now.
I do remember hearing that his first date with his wife was at an Ethiopian cafe.
It was not our coffee shop.
It was not, okay.
His first date was not at our coffee shop.
Maybe it's
at a coffee shop. I read that too.
Yeah.
I was going to say, don't ask me where I got that tidbit of information. But
dude, you got some insights.
True, I read that too. But yeah, so he's been to Buunni and he's pretty famous right now, not only in New York. Who else has been to Buunni? I don't know.
We also, like, you know, leave the area, like, you know, because we are a little bit further out, like, you know, to the north in Manhattan. But a lot of, like, you know, Broadway actors, you know, people there live in our area. I don't know if you want to say names. Yeah.
I mean, you know, I think many people, if you're into arts and theater, you will know Hamilton. You'll know that there was a famous musical and a movie called In the Heights, which is all about our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the person who made that, Lin-Manuel Miranda, lives in our neighborhood and comes to Buunni. So like there are famous people that come. Sometimes, the best thing we can do is serve them a great cup of coffee and just be low key about
Give them
it.
space,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So I do have to.
thank you for sharing that.
That is good. The Mamdani was that's probably the best one. That's
good
that's right now.
awesome. Yeah.
So you guys and you have children,
Yes,
Yes.
too.
and are they? I believe you mentioned one is 8. What are
So one is almost 12 soon, later this month, turning 12, and one is 15, turning 16 in January.
Okay. I'm curious, just from a business perspective. Number one, have they started working for you guys in any capacity, and do they have an interest in carrying it on? It's always hard to ask a 12 and a 15-year-old that question, but it's
Yes. Yes. Well, yes, they have both worked at Buunni in different capacities at the cafe, packing coffee, labeling the bags, modeling our T-shirt merch. So they're definitely part of the family and family business.
Well, it seems
And,
like such a good business model to be able to make it a family business.
Yeah, and like our older one, she loves art and design, and I often find myself asking for feedback on design and on, do you like this one or this one? What do you suggest? Like such a good eye. And I love this story. We were away during the summer. We were away. I don't remember where we were. We had been away for a few weeks, and we came back, and we went to the Buunni that is around the corner from where we live. And our younger one got her normal drink, which is a chai. And she came out and she said, "Did you know they hired somebody while we were gone?" And then she said, "I don't like the way he makes chai."
Oh, good.
So I think there's like an operations and quality control aspect.
Yeah. Gonna come in
So
and
she's watching. She's watching.
reshape it.
But yeah, like, they're too young. Then, like, we don't want to put any pressure whatsoever on the kids. Like, they should just choose what they want. And they're too young right now. And, we had our kids a little late. So they're still young, and we'll see where they end up. But I know that, like, Buunni, no matter what they decide, Buunni will be such a big part of their childhood and their growing up and, like, their formative years.
That's very cool. Very cool. I want to say thank you again.
Yeah, this has been awesome.
Yeah, this has been great stories, just great perspective. That's one thing I love to hear is just kind of, how you guys did it, where you guys are going, what your thoughts are, because there are so many different ways to think about how you live your life and how you run a business and how you raise a family and pretty much everything. So you guys are very open and candid about that. We really appreciate it, and just want to say thank you for coming on the podcast, and we look forward to hosting you guys out here sometime, and maybe figuring out a good wine and coffee pairing together. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You read my mind. You read my mind.
Oh, now they're about to get into some wine.
Now that we have wine on the coffee table, we are going to be, as soon as we're done, we're looking forward to tasting the wine.
I like it. Professional.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get let loose. Oh, thank you so much.
Well,
yeah.
Thank you
guys.
very much for the wine.
And thank you. I mean, we appreciate
I know,
the
yeah.
coffee, I mean,
Yep, my wife's gonna love it too.
yeah. And we'll also put some visual stuff out there. We like to just promote everything you guys are doing because we believe it's great what you're doing for the community. So people can find you
Thank you.
is it at Buunni Coffee on Instagram? And we'll have that there too. If there's anything else you guys want to let us know, but you have your 2 store locations, both in Manhattan.
Yeah, our website and the
Okay.
Instagram would be great.
Great.
Because we do offer the products online.
Yeah, so buy
and then
them
it doesn't matter where
direct
people
and
live.
Yeah.
buy them direct online, and I mean, I can vouch for it. The coffee I've had is phenomenal.
It's stellar.
And it's smooth too.
No, I mean, yeah. And like
the caffeine like hit isn't like some in your face like bam. It's like everything's just been nice and chill and feeling good.
Look at me.
Yeah.
I'm feeling great. I'm still going. Yeah, it's
How many
great.
cups of coffee you had?
I don't know if these bags are all going to make it to Joe's house. I think I might have to brew them all today.
You know where to find them.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Let us know if you need more.
yeah. Well, also, I mean, we're going to come out and visit you guys now, right? Because we did get invited.
Yes.
That is, we got to.
Please.
Yeah, we could get some education and stuff.
Really, just a great podcast. Thank you guys for being on.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us.